So, with the sword, we're going to point from our hara straight to the eyes. When we come to haso kamai, I'm going to cut my way into kamai, pushing the sword forward with me under it. Okay? So here, I don't pull it back. I push it forward until it drops right into my cheek. Okay? So relaxed here. A little bit more by your cheek. Here. Relax. There. Okay. All right. And now we start our approach. Remember, make sure the tip of the jo is pointed at the center. Good. Ich, ni, san. Now, reach and grab the end of the stick. Hand on the end of the stick. And match weapons. Over the top. There you go. All right. Now, remember the jo has a side step as you draw the stick. So draw the stick and all the way back. Keep it on target. All the way to the end. Yeah. So one, and then step just off the line, and you got to hit me. Now I want to block. So from here, Susan, Jodan to the side. So when he comes to attack, yeah, a little bit, point your foot towards him, a little bit deeper knee stance. Yeah. Okay, so we blocked that first attack. Well, next thing we're going to do is step with our left foot and come to attack the neck. Get your hands up behind you. Good. Did you feel how you twist your body, but you're still vertical? Okay. Hey, stay here. From this place, from here. 1, 2. Watch. I have the jo. This is the jo. I'm going to do this. Okay. So come back. Good. All the way. Leave this down. And then move this hand right up to where your head is. And you want this to be in between the wrists. Okay, very good. So we have this one. Yeah. So the jo is, and make sure you have the end of the jo. All the way. Other end. Your finger on the very back. Yeah, there you go. This front hand should be right over your head. So take the middle of the jo, move that to Jodan, right in the center of your forehead. Relax your elbows a little bit. Middle of the stick. No. Get the end here. There. There you go. Yeah. And point at him. Point a little bit more towards him. Yeah. Not straight into his face because we're being nice. Okay. But there. Okay, so we have this position. Everybody's got their legs twisted up almost. Switch your feet. There you go. Now, to get out of this, what he wants to do is he's going to step. If you try to pick up like a weightlifter and push your hands up, go ahead and push your hands up. Can't do it. But I want you to just take a walking step straight forward. It's going to dump me right over. Try to let your arms make a big circle. Not just, but okay? So how's everybody doing? So start from, come back. Start from over the top of your head here. Start walking this way. Do you feel what that does to her? Just your walking pushes her into a step. She's going to have to take a step to recover, okay? And you want to step off a little bit more to here. Okay? Now, this trap that happens, I want you to take your left fist and put it right in the thigh joint. excuse me, I'll be here. So you have that in the thigh joint. I step out to the front like this. Now, twist your hips the other direction. Yeah. So, there you are. Your stick is going to come like this. And you twist your hips to face the back more. All the way down to the end with that hand. Don't move your feet. Okay? And right now you should be about here. So you've got your Kai Shizuku position. I want you to step forward and gently spear your opponent in the suigetsu. Swordsman, take a step back. And then pull back to Hiki-otoshi, all the way chambered in to Hiki-otoshi Kamae, to this Kamae. And big strike to the eyes. And I've got to move back again. Okay? And make sure you're in a good, comfortable Kamae. Change your feet. Right now your feet are kind of like this. Let your legs come out. Yeah. And I have the sword still active. I'm going to relax my hands. There you go. And now, if you know the put away, do the put away. Yeah, otherwise just put the Joe back. Yeah, there you go. Very good. And you can relax. Okay. Okay. So it's a nice piece of work, right? So we can spend the rest of the class doing this one. Let me talk about one thing that's happening here. And let me borrow Susan as with the Joe, please.
Oh, right. Can I use this one?
Yeah. Okay, so we're doing this. The kata. It's an encounter. You should always have the assumption that this is an actual sword that's going to be acting the way a sword would act. Okay? So, yeah, your even feet, Tsuno Kamae. So she's got, let's move back this way. She's got this position here. And there you go. And she's going to go ahead and strike me upside the head. So step and draw. And here. And then I'm going to come around here, and you remember you change, there you go, and bring this hand into your head. So a little bit lower with your shoulders, yeah. And elbows underneath, yeah. So this position is the one I want to talk about. She's just gotten to the point where she's blocked a cut. And I did a little testing a second ago. I'd go here and I'd say, okay, try to push your way through me. Go ahead and you can't, right? One of the mechanics that happens here is that if she starts to push with her hands, she's actually pushing her feet into the mat and she's not going to be able to move. So now she's trying to be a weightlifter and to pick up some weight here, right? Well, this is a nice way to test your kamae and your method of applying powers. This has nothing to do with the kata, though. The kata does not have a sword pushing like this. Okay? If I have a sword, I've got 2.5 feet of active weapon, and I got a handle. So when I try to cut her, at this point, I'm done with that cut. My next movement is probably going to be, go ahead and going to do this. I want to cut the person with this part of the sword. I don't want to get into a fight with them using the hilt. So I think one of the biggest problems people have with Jodo is, well, realistically, this is a stick. And so I think of it as being a stick. And if I am fighting with another stick, and I'm hitting her with the stick, maybe I go ahead and try to do something with this end of the stick. But sword is not a stick. So if I'm going to use a sword, this is my next move. My next move is to get out there to where I can do some more damage. We just did that a second ago. Okay? Because when we did our initial encounter, start from the beginning. Ich, ni, san, and back up to keep your fingers. There you go. So we're in this one, and you do your strike. She's going to come and strike here. I am not going to try to push this stick. I'm going to come around and cut her, because that's what I do. So when I do this and come back to the strike, here, here, go ahead and fix your hands. Put this right here, elbows there. Yeah, if you have your elbow there, you can't see me. So she's got this here. Hot. Next thing I'm going to do is lift the sword. So one of the criticisms that some of us have had when we go to Japan is that our sword, they said, it feels heavy. And we noticed that the top instructors, all their sword, the sword feels light. Well, what does light mean? It means it's moving, it's active. It's not just a big dead weight hanging on the end of a stick. It's right. You follow this. When this happens, follow it. Oh my, look what has happened. The kata happened, right? So that's what's happening here, is that I have tried to cut her. My next thing to do is to raise the sword, furikaburi, here. Well, she is at this point walking into me. Okay. Keep a little bit of more distance. The reason you don't want to be so close, go ahead and again. Right here. Do you feel? I remember Miyake Sensei made that point, and she would just she would come after you. So you've got a lot more weapon, excuse me, a lot more distance on your weapon here. So when this happens, and I raise the sword, you follow. Use what do they call it?
Monouchi?
Monouchi, yeah, thank you. Monouchi of the stick to hold me. Here. Lock into my hips. Lock me into my own hips. If you're just locking here, I can move. But if you lock it to my hips, my hands are trapped, okay? Yeah. And I come out here, and you switch.
And I go here.
No, well, yeah, you switch this end, turn your body to the left. And you're going to spear me here. And then that should be a full Tachi Otoshi. Here's another, let's, can I switch?
Hi.
Dale-san, stick please. So here's a little point on the end of this also. So we have from the block here. Eight. I come out here. He's got this point here. Now, I think I won. Now it's because I'm short. So being short's okay. I don't mind being short. Let's come back to this place. When I come out here, you got this. You're going to throw me back here. I want you to see. Ah, did you see what he just did? Leave your hand out. Anybody see a problem with this position right here? So guess what? My sword is not down here, it's here. And if your hand is out, maybe I just strike your hand off. So once again, I'm thinking, what's the swordsman doing? So now I know why you pull back to Tachi Otoshi Kamae. Because once he does that, now there's no target there, and he's now going to strike right over the top. Bigger strike. Let your arms out. Oh my goodness. Do you feel how that's a lot more powerful? Take a look at this strike. Do the small one again. That one he just kind of turned the Joe over. Now strike. That one looks like the buzzsaw of God, a giant circular saw blade coming towards my head. And I don't want to have anything to do with it. The little short one, I might do something like this, but the big, strong, I can't even get into it. Okay, so at this point I surrender. All right, so maybe this gives you a little bit idea what the swordsman is thinking during this and why things work the way they do in the kata. Okay, so let's do a little bit more practice. Okay, Tachi Otoshi, and I think what I'll do is everybody kind of at your own pace, and I'll work with my partner and I'll circulate a little bit here. This is Hasso has this near your mouth like this, and you can feel how your shoulders can relax, and you can hang out like this all day. We tend to also hold a little bit lower. Okay? And I want you to look at your hands. This should be here. So each knee, san. And then when you get to where you're in range to cut is when you start to cut. If I start cutting back here, I got a long way to go. So you're going to wait until, think about this. Here, here. That's about where I want to start. It's not that far. You know my with Aikido? Do mine. Give it one hand. This is my with a sword. So if my without the sword is the distance at which I can one step attack, then with the sword, actually it'll be about here. Check your my. Here. Now, from here, this is mine. So, using a sword adds one step. There's a saying with the sword is isoku ito. One step is one sword lift. So, here. So you're here, hasso kamai, like this. Relax your shoulders, turn your body, angle. Yeah. Up towards your mouth. So the tsuba is near, not with the shoulders, but just with the bend of the arms and here. Yeah, there you go. Now you come forward and you start your attack. Here. You're going with this. You draw and strike. Now, you're going to catch this here. Open up the elbows a little bit. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to catch like this. Yeah, a little more up with the tip. The tip, yeah, there you go. So when I strike here, from this position, here, keep this near your head. Near your center of power, right? Now, you're going to come over with your left foot and try to attack this target. Good. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to catch you in the hands. I'm going to do this. All right. Now you're going to straighten yourself up and you're going to try to get off of the stick. So take a step back and turn. Hold. Okay. And there's a and sheathe the weapon. And now you want to step back. All right. And now from here, this distance, I'm going to wait for you to take 2 steps back. Okay. Now. Okay, all right. The reason is that if I'm close enough here, even if I've stepped back with my feet together, they're close. You remember that each one of your feet could be a launching pad. I could step with this attack. I could step with this attack. So I got to be careful when the swordsman is standing close to me. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Hey, you get a little nap in?
All right.
Let's see. Just a smidge. J.W. Bodie came in here.
Okay. I'm going to be here.
Sword should be down there.
Well, he was.
Get down, yeah.
I'm going to be here.
Oh, there. J.W. Gary. Gary.
I think if you don't have the stick down, the Joe is probably going to knock the stick down, just in general principle. So, okay. All right, I'll get everybody to the right place. There it is. All right. I don't know if anybody saw what Dale was just doing, but let's take a break from Tachi Otoshi. Hey, Yame. We're going to take a break from Tachi Otoshi for just a moment because Dale was doing something very interesting. And this is a way that I was taught to work with the trapping techniques many, many years ago. And so what I think I'll do is let me show you. There's 3 different movements that we call a trap. And the basic position of the trap is to take your hand in the center of the stick, put it up on top of your head. Here, grab the end of the joke. And what I want to do is I want to take this distal end of the joe and I'm going to smack him in the hands. Now, we're pretty nice to each other, so I'm just going to smack right in that piece of wood right there. So I'm going to step off the line as he cuts right in, put the stick here, okay? Now, what I do next depends on what he does next, okay? There's one thing I'm pretty sure of is that he's not going to push on a stick with the hilt of his sword. So I guess I could worry about that, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Here. Now what were you trying to do there?
I was trying to pull up.
You were trying to go back to Jodo, right? Well, funny how this just happens to happen right there. Okay? There's about 3 different things you could maybe try to do. You could try to go to Hatsukamai here, stepping full back and recovering to, this is kind of your default position. It's like having the safety off on a gun, you know. You just got it ready, you got your hand on it, you got the safety off, but you're not doing anything with it yet. You actually have to draw it before you can shoot. This guy here is kind of the same. To get a really good cut, you have to come up to Jodan. You have to transition before you can cut. Now, there's what they call a kokesa, a small diagonal cut, but that only works here. In other words, if I'm this close to somebody, I can just reach out and cut them with that. But otherwise, I'm probably going to have to reach out with my arms as opposed to making a small cut. So Hasso is the second option. So let's say he comes into attack here, and he's going to go to Hatsukamai. Whoa, you all right?
Yes.
The second trap technique is called Kuri-hanashi. And if you think about the first one, he's drawing the stick straight up, but he's not moving his feet until he starts to fall backwards. On the second one, he comes into here, and he's going to step back and pull the stick off to the side. Well, my second trapping motion is that. I'll just let him go there and add about, in my case, 170 pounds to the sword. So if you do any Aikido, you know that a lot of times you'll put your fist out or strike, and your hand goes out weighing 2 pounds, and when it comes back, it's got tori attached to it. And now, like I said, I weigh about 170, so if you do this Aikido style, and he reaches out and tries to punch me here, his hand went out weighing about 2 pounds and came back weighing 172 pounds, which creates a real dynamic problem for him. So you kind of have the same issue with the sword and the jo, in that the sword weighs a couple pounds, throw in the weight of the hand, or maybe it's about 5 pounds coming out, and then it's got my full body weight throwing when he draws it back. So that's Kuri-hanashi. Now another thing that could happen is I could attack him. I could throw his sword up in the air. Or in an alternative explanation, he could try to circle around behind me. So if he comes into attack and I'm here, where can you come to cut me? He could maybe come around like that. So I could do this as he comes around. Now he's turned his sword sideways. Let's do it again, and I want you to just think about lifting the sword. Why did it turn sideways? Is it habit?
It's probably
or did it
habit.
just do it?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe we get Susan, who has, well, at least her habits are Eishinryu, not Jodo. So I want you to just think about how can you attack me with the sword. So you come in here. Where is a place that you can attack? Where would you? Yeah. So this is also Kuritsuke. You can see how this is the same thing that we had in the first trap. Here, right? Make sure you can do a good cut. Okay? That's really the only rule, is to make sure you can do a good cut. This is usually thought of as being practiced and was practiced without armor. You didn't have the Sengoku Jidai armored samurai running around. What you had was people going out in their kimonos and getting in fights. So, again, here. Again. Now that took some initiative from me. What happened there was, and this is Tai-atari. She's over the top, and as she starts to, I think you're trying to think about what to do for a moment, but what I did was I threw the stick, the hilt of the sword up in the air. And I notice what I'm doing is I'm still attached to, you can stand up straight. I'm still attached to it. You notice I'm going to punch you in the face. If you turn the hilt, now you can kind of keep me from punching you in the face. And what I end up doing is this, moving with the body. So this is that set of 3 traps. Kuritsuke, this comes to Gyakute Kamai. It's called Kuri-hanashi. And then this one that comes up and makes a T shape, a Jumonji, and it's called Tai-atari. So the really important thing about all 3 of these is they are based on what the swordsman does. So we're going to play a little exercise with these 3 kihon. Okay? So Susan-san. The exercise is for the swordsman to vary what they're doing. So let's say you just go to Jodo. Now when this happens, go ahead and recover your stance so you don't get completely clobbered. Right? So going to Jodo, you're going to have this. Going to Hasso, you're going to get thrown backwards. And trying to circle around, you'll probably have something like Tai-atari. Here. Right. And remember not to fight the hilt. Remember that the hilt is not the part that cuts, right? So let me show you the exercise the way I'm envisioning it. And actually, tell you what, Dale, let me use Dale because I think Dale's got the kihon a little better.
Which one?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. What I want you to do is feel what's the stick doing. When I cut here, from the moment you contact, this should be glued to that point. So that if I come up and around, you have this motion. If I start to step back like this, you're going to throw me that direction. And if I stand my ground and just try to come up here,
Oh, that just failed.
yeah. Okay. You have something like this. So the motions for the swordsman in this are going to be from the trap. Don't move, please. 1 is up here. I may be trying to come under or something like that. I probably am not going to move my foot unless I have to. From right here, that's a pretty good cut, right? Height. I'm happy with that. But then as he moves, I don't want to fall down. I don't want to get twisted around, so I'll step. First option is to raise the sword and try to cut the midsection. Second option is for me to step back, Haso Kamai. So I want the Jo man to feel the difference between this, go ahead and follow. Okay, versus this. Do you feel the difference?
There's definitely a difference, but I can't follow the second one.
Yeah, that's why we practice. And then the third option, I'm going to have everybody do this, is to come around, try to cut this way. And the Jo follows. So the Jo is really pretty simple in this. All the Jo has to do is get into the trap and then just put some epoxy right there so that whatever I do, Jo is going to follow it. Okay? So let's play with those three options and go through them in sequence at first. And then once you get the idea of the three movements, you can mix them up. Okay? All right. Let's try. Yeah. That's kind of the feeling of it. Hey. Yeah, and you can feel how now it's starting to feel like Kuri-hanashi. So you're following me still?
Stop.
Yeah. Get rid of me. Whoop.
And stand there. I don't mean stand there, but I mean stop going forward.
Stop following the sword. That's right. There you go. Now I may do something, but you know, that's the idea. Okay. Now, don't necessarily get that close. Here, your arms outstretched. There you go.
Which hotel? The Hilton Garden. All these guys.
You're pushing with the top hand.
Oh.
Feel it?
Yeah,
So here-
now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
It needs to be even.
Now I did it, right?
Right?
If you push with the top hand, you get something like this. But if you just set me here,
Right?
then no, you can just walk right through me.
Then I can play good judo games.
Now don't push with the top hand again.
Oh.
Yeah. Here, Phil.
I think the fountain is the Holiday Inn Express. Okay. The one right next to it.
Now, feel that? Just turn your hands. Just turn. You don't have to worry about that. Once you get the blade free, cut. Right? Yeah. So if I'm pushing here, yeah. This is very dangerous for me, right?
Right.
What if I do this? Hold. So what I want to do is I want to get here. I want to have from the beginning of the strike.
We're winding it up, Jack. Time for break time.
Hold. Okay. All right. Okay. We have the main thing I want to get across with the exercise we're doing and with the kata is to think about the sword like a sword. There's a real tendency to start to fight fist against fist, and that's not what the sword has in mind. That's not what a sword wants to do. The sword wants to get out and get this long weapon advantage. And the Jo, of course, is countering that and is designed more or less to counter the movements of a sword. So we'll continue on that theme tomorrow and try to keep in mind what we're doing with the sword. Okay? So let's go ahead and line up like we did before. If you have a sword, that's okay. If you have a Jo, that's okay. Just please come in. Okay. Cesar. If you have a sword, switch it to your right side. Hi. Hey. Shinzen ni. Hey. Gokurou-sama deshita. Thank you very much for your hard work today. Look forward to tomorrow. Hey, thank you.